So tell us about the changes that you were requesting to the White House on PPP and whether you think it's going to happen.
Yeah, so when I spoke with the president, the main thing is that about the PPP program is that in restaurants, because we haven't been allowed to open up until just recently, and a lot of places still haven't opened up, this 8-week runway to hire all your employees back really doesn't make any sense for anybody. The idea is that we get people back to work. So for us to just take over the employees in that 8-week period, only to let them lay them off at the end of the 8-week period because the restaurants aren't even allowed to open yet, just doesn't make sense. So what I asked the president was, can we extend the 8-week period to hire your staff back from 8 weeks to 24 weeks to give people a longer runway to get Americans back to work? The whole goal for the PPP was to make sure that we cut unemployment down. If you give us a longer runway, that allows us other restaurants start to open up. They can hire their employees back and get them back to work.
Have you heard anything about whether they're going to do that?
We've heard a lot. There's a lot of talk amongst Congress about how to institute those changes, but the president has the capability of making that one minute change. And in the meeting with him, he quote said, that might be the easiest thing anybody's ever asked me. So I'm sitting here on the other side waiting for that to happen. You know, on top of that,
yeah,
we're fighting these unemployment deals that are happening right now. They're getting extra money during unemployment. For me, I've offered a job for everybody in my entire team to come back. We've got about 80% of our workforce back, but we need that other 20%. We need to get things moving forward.
Well, why isn't the other 20% coming back? Because they're making money on unemployment, or maybe they're afraid. Maybe it feels early.
It's possible for people to feel afraid. We pride ourselves on our safety protocols, mainly putting safety first on our employees. Our protocol is some of the strongest in the country, I feel like. We make sure that our employees are safe first, so therefore our guests can be safe secondly. If people are scared to come back, that's perfectly fine. But we want to encourage that those that want to work have the opportunity to work. People want to earn their money. Sitting on the couch and getting a check doesn't make anybody feel great, but working does. So we want the opportunity to do that.
Hey, Tim, if you had a restaurateur come to you and said, I have an opportunity to pivot to direct-to-consumer or pivot to grocery, at this stage of the game, would you recommend that? Or is it time to start doubling down on reopening dine-in, even though there may be challenges?
Well, that's a great question. That really would depend on the neighborhood, the city, the state. All those make a big factor in what's happening. I think, you look at Illinois right now, not very much is opening up there. So if somebody said I wanted to pivot to a grocery store, I'd say that'd be great advice. If you're in the state of Texas, I would say it's time to start focusing on dining in if that's what you do. Now, we've realized some restaurants that converted to go only have been doing better sales than before when they were doing dine in. So my advice to them would be, I wouldn't have anybody dine in, cut your costs on the dining in and stay in to go. Every restaurant is unique, which is what makes our 11 million people who we employ in a very unique situation, because a blanket answer is not always the right thing for our industry. It's very individualized, very neighborhoodized. You got to look at it. And most importantly, you got to look at it safety first, which is what we're doing. You got to make sure whatever we're doing, safety is at the top of every decision that you make. So I would advise people that if you can't open up, it lets people get back into their normal jobs, right? And we talk about normalcy a lot, but really what we're looking for is stability. People want stability. They can change and adapt and get stable, but normalcy is not going to be there, right? That doesn't exist anymore. What we're doing is creating a new normal every day by creating a stable environment for our employees and for our guests. That's the most important thing we can do in our industry right now.